Hello, everybody. Live stream here for you today. Waiting for YouTube to catch up. I'm here for you today. And there it is. All right. Alrighty. Yes. 3 p.m. Central Time, 4 p.m. Eastern Time, and we are live from Cabot, Arkansas. It's Sunday afternoon. Hope everyone is having a lovely Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. Oh, let's see. A little bit of plugs first. Other financial content is this stream answering your financial questions with Ramsey Solutions. Certified Coach Steve Money. Hey, that is me. How about that? And so there's 98 of those. This is episode 99. The music playlist has 9, soon to be 10 Ramsey adjacent songs in it. And of course, the Ramsey Show After Show, which there will be 2 of those this coming week, Wednesday the 19th on Juneteenth and Friday the 21st. And then of course on the weekends, on the 2 weekend days, Saturday and Sunday, answering your financial questions at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Let's get into the questions. That's from Midas XL4, looking for advice on where to keep savings for upgrade to the house. Currently have 20K in high yield savings account for my emergency fund and 11K in a high yield savings account that is earmarked to upgrade for a newer, bigger house in a few years. Okay, so you said a few, so I'm going to assume that's not 5, and so if it's not 5, you are limited to high yield savings account. That is probably going to be the best you can do in any type of like savings or a CD or anything like that. The high yield savings account allows you to get it out whenever you want to. And it'll be up, although not as much up in the market usually. But for the market, you have to have 5 years because you're not guaranteed, and still not guaranteed even after 5 years. But it's highly unlikely the market will still be down in any 5-year period, and so that's why you need 5 years. So since you don't have 5 years, you're going to be limited to the high yield savings account on that. Future Mrs. 33. Student loans. Sometimes fret over my decision to pay off my student loans in 2019 instead of buying my home then. At the time, I thought I was making the best decision. You were. You were, according to baby steps. You were. And you did. So saving for a down payment is step 3B. Right here. And so you don't do that until your debts are paid off, and that would be the student loan. That's way back in baby steps 2. Baby step 1, 2, and 3 done one at a time, and you do not move to a higher step until you get this one done. Then you move to step 2, and you do not move to a higher step until you get this done. And then this one, and you do not move to a higher step until you get baby step 3 done. And then it's baby step 3B is save a down payment for a house. If you are so inclined, you don't have to do that. Let's see. I'm paying the price for that decision now. Today, my mortgage is twice what it would have been in 2019. But you don't have any debt, theoretically, if you continue to follow the baby steps. So, no, I'm not going to feel sorry for anybody that is debt free. So, and you're not paying interest on that as well. And so, if the mortgage is twice as what it would have been just 5 years ago, maybe you bought too much house and that's on you. That's not on the decision. That's not on Dave. That's not on your decision to the way the baby steps are written and your decision to follow the baby steps. It's on you for buying too much house. Is where I'm going to put the blame. Cause I don't think it's twice. It's not twice. It's not doubling it from 5 years ago. That's not. I mean, maybe perhaps if you live in a specific area, oh, maybe like Denver, maybe, or somewhere like that, could have like taken off, but it has not doubled. So this, also people are prone to exaggerate to make their point, but instead it just makes their point seem ridiculous when they exaggerate. Takes away from the point instead of highlighting it. Reebok LFR Foundations in Personal Finance Homeschool Edition. Hello, hi guys. I was about to purchase the above program, but I read a review that said it is the same curriculum as public school and the biblical principles are gone. Okay, I do not know. I would prefer to get an edition that has the biblical principles, tithing, etc., but I'm unsure what to get. When I do search, it seems there are several options. DVDs. Okay, DVDs are going to be older. Anything new, I think, would be Blu-ray at this point. The DVDs are going to be older. But, the older thing, maybe what you might be looking for if they have taken the biblical principles out, and I don't know the content of each of those. What this person could do in a case like this, you could call the Ramsey customer care line, and the person answering the phone might not know the answer, but they would have, a contact that could get back in touch with you and let you know what's in what edition of things. Let's see, which makes it more confusing. Is there a list of titles or ISBNs someone can point me to that has everything I need? I realize it would likely be older, used, etc. Thanks. Yeah, and so there's all kinds of stuff on eBay, etc. that are the older versions of Ramsey stuff, but what's in what, I don't know. You can check the eBay description because, that would be something to point out that it does include that, but a lot of times the seller doesn't know that they've taken out biblical principles, for example, in this case. And if I'm assuming they have, I'm assuming that's correct. But they don't know that has happened and that people will be looking for the biblical principles in there and would be willing to pay more for it. And so you might even be able to get a deal on it, but you do have to find out the right edition, and I do not know on that if they don't have the older versions available in the store, and you can't find it with a simple Google search. Again, Ramsey Solutions customer care line, and you can just Google that. It's at the bottom of the page. Contact us on the main page of the RamseySolutions.com website. Joshua, 1989, UK investor, Great Britain. Hi everyone, hi guys. I'll cut to the chase to start. I'm based in Wales, UK. I'm doing the baby steps. Currently on step 2, but I don't think it will be long until I'm on step 4. So I want to be prepared already. What can I bloody invest in? BlackRock, MyMap 6. I don't even know what that is. Is that one of their funds? S&P 500. What funds would you guys recommend that I look at, and how do I go about attaining them? Through Hargreaves? Hargreaves is the family in Umbrella Academy. Is that like a brokerage in the UK? I'm not familiar. If so, let's see. What are some other brokers? Any you've heard of? I don't know if they have Fidelity or Vanguard or TD Ameritrade or sure Charles Schwab over there. But if they sell mutual funds, if Hargreaves is a brokerage, that should be fine. not every brokerage is guaranteed to have every access to every mutual fund, but like in most you can, like from Fidelity, if you like a particular Vanguard fund, you can buy that Vanguard fund through Fidelity and you put in your Fidelity account. I'd love to know that fund Dave mentioned that gets him 13%. Yeah, I'm sure you would. So yeah, I just need to know what and where. I'm determined to turn 60 with 1 million bloody pounds. 34 years old and could put away 450 pound per something C. I don't know what that would mean, but month. I guess a month. 450 pounds a month. Okay. So you'll be fine, even if you would just do S&P 500, which is average 10%, but managed funds can make more than that, and so you would look for managed fund. And if you can't do it yourself, you can pay an investing professional to assist you. I'm sure they have some over there. They won't have SmartVestor Pros, vetted by Mr. Ramsey's team, but they will have investment professionals there. Or you can teach yourself. It's not that difficult. It's not that difficult. I have many mutual funds because I have, like, for example, I have 3 different large caps because I was trying different ones, but they all have in the past 6 years they've all been the highest, but they're all over the index. They're all higher than the index, even after. Don't even start. Even after you take out the difference between the expense ratio and the fee, whatever fees, even if you take that out, it's still more than the index. So don't even come at me with that. The index bros love to bring that up. But let's see. I think I need to start a pension this year. But yeah, and in UK, I don't think. Yeah, I mean they call it a pension, even when it's not a pension like we think in the US. But you would at least do, even if there's no tax advantage brokerage accounts, you would still open a brokerage account and let that be your retirement. Because yeah, some countries don't have the tax advantaged brokerage account, which is another reason why United States is best. Better than the bloody UK, love. All right. So what was the main question? Oh, what to invest in? And so yeah, this is the thing. Where is it? I'd love to know the fund that Dave mentioned that gets him 13%. Well, I'm assuming he didn't say the name of it. Now, if you YouTube search Dave Ramsey investing and you watch all of the videos in there, you can get clues as to what they are. To try to figure them out, because he'll say, like, what one of the funds, I think he says, no, don't quote me on this, but I think he said, like, he said at one point, this may be in 2 different videos, American funds, I think is what he uses. American funds for everything, I believe. And he said the fund was started in 1920, I think. So don't quote me on that, but like I said, if you just YouTube search Dave Ramsey investing and watch all of the ones where it's Dave talking, not somebody criticizing his investing, but where he's the one talking, then you can learn a lot about investing from watching that. And then every little bit of information about every mutual fund is on the internet. So you can take your S&P 500 index fund, whichever one you want to use. A lot of people will mention the VOO on here, VOO, and that starts with a V, so that means it's a Vanguard fund. See how they do that? And so that's the Vanguard version of the S&P 500 index fund. Fidelity has their own, of course. But so you can take the percentage that has been making over its whole life, or if you want to compare the past 10 years. That's another one of the things he says in the videos is you're looking for a managed mutual fund that beats the index. And you have to have at least a 10-year track record. Not something that just started up and has, perhaps gotten lucky for 2 years. You need at least a 10-year track record. The longer the better. So you can teach yourself how to do it, but if you can't handle it, think it's too much trouble or whatever, you can just do the index and that'll be fine. I mean, that's better than not doing anything, because that will at least give you the average 10% per year. And so you should do that, but you're leaving money on the table by not trying to get managed funds that make considerably more. Creative Gap, am I the AL final update? All right, so this has been a deal. I don't think I ever saw the original one, but I saw the second update, and so this one, let's go with the final update. We're being evicted. This was I think had a roommate. The poster here had a roommate and moved out. But I think the apartment or house or whatever was in the poster's name, and the person that stayed living there didn't pay rent at all. So let's see. Yeah, he wasn't paying rent for the past 3 months. He said things slowed down his job, and since there's never been financial transparency, I believed him. Oh, maybe I'm confusing two different people here, but I think it was something like I did some investigating. I saw investigating. Is this a spouse? I did investigating, and I saw his most recent pay stub, and he was making less, but it was still enough to cover the bills with a $500 surplus each week. I looked at the total sum that he's made thus far since January, and it's my whole take home for the year. He's made what I make in a year and 5 months. I am so disgusted and defeated. I'm taking my daughter and moving us in with. Okay, so I don't know if married, but I'm assuming that person is the baby parent. Let's see. Maybe it's my parent. But the problem is they live 11 hours away and I have to uproot my daughter. Yeah, sometimes you got to make tough decisions like that. And that's why you need to demand financial transparency. All that needs to be talked about before a baby is even a possibility. That shouldn't even be in the realm of possibility. You need to take steps to make sure that that doesn't happen until you find somebody that you want to be with and that you mesh with financially. And all other ways as well, but in this case, it's the financial thing that is most important here. That's what the question is about, and so all that, yeah. And so you don't just take the chance on having a kid and then not being compatible, because stuff like this can happen. Let's see. Uproot my daughter and switch schools to a district we don't know about as she enters high school and I have to leave my job. Please take this as a cautionary tale. Demand. Yep. The financial. I promise I didn't see that when I said demand before. Maybe I saw it out of the corner of my eye and didn't realize it. If you decide to stay at home, even if it's just for a few years, any words of encouragement and prayers would be greatly appreciated right now. My heart is breaking. Yeah. I mean, have you confronted the other person? Because I don't know if this is it seems like this might be a female, but I'm not sure. And the non-transparent spouse is or just boyfriend. I do not know. Asked him to sit down with me, and he said things are so far gone. There's nothing to see. Okay. I can't contribute to big bills, then I can't help. I really think we are getting evicted soon. I told him I'm gonna. Okay, right. Sorry if TMI, but when something say bed for 10 years. All right, well, yep. Oh, that's the part one and part two. Okay, yeah, but okay, so the moral of the story is you need to demand that fireman. And since there has never been financial transparency, I believe him. There should always be financial transparency. And people think I'm kidding, but I say bring up Dave Ramsey on the first date. If his Dave's way of doing things is that important to you, that it might cause a problem later, you need to bring it up on the first date. And that way you don't waste time with the second date. And that way you don't, accidentally have a child together. That kind of thing. This from Rajin 8. Do I sell my truck? Here's my situation. I'm going to say yes. When you ask, almost always when you ask. Because you know darn well you need to sell the truck in most cases. Household income 173, student loan 65, wife's car 24. My truck 56K. Had to have a truck. Personal loans 10K. I have 19K cash in savings. I'm debating on selling my truck. Yes, but I have a negative equity of 11K. Well, hey, good thing you have 19K in cash because there goes 11 of it. And then you can buy an 8K truck. Congratulations. Should have put up the 11K to get rid of the truck and eliminate the 56K owed on it? Yes. For another vehicle, I already have a 2001 S10 that has 88K miles. Then why did you buy that stupid truck? That's stupid. That's dumb. Doing it wrong. The S10 is in good shape, just needing a little TLC here and there. Yeah, I heard Dave say a few times to just consider the 11K loss, stupid tax. That's what it is. You got it. I told you the person knew. Most of the times they know. Just wanted to get some more thoughts on it. Thanks for any advice, input. Hope you. And it's going to be 2 lines in here that I'm. 2 words in here. Hope you. Yep. All have a great day. You too, sir. Thank you so much. So yeah. Dumb. You already have one truck. Why do you need another? So dumb. So dumb when people do that. I'm not a vehicle guy, so I get it. But I don't already have. Okay, so it's a little bit different for computers. I'm trying to compare myself to it. There are some games that I can't play on an older computer that I still have. And so when I upgrade, I buy a new one, and I normally sell my old one. In this case, I have not yet. I will eventually, but I haven't sold it. And so I do have both of those. But granted, both of those were cash purchases. And they were not nearly that amount either. So there was no debt on it, and they were not nearly that amount. The most recent one was $900. So what else? Yeah, it was just dumb, and so he knew the answer already. Yeah, and that stupid tax that you bought that. Why would you buy that? Just, oh, that's pretty. I want to buy that. I mean, it's like you're looking at some jewelry. Oh, I want to. That's pretty. I want to buy that. Why do you need another truck? Have an S10, 88K miles. He says it's in good shape. Just need some tender loving care. Okay, pay it tender loving care instead of buying a $56,000 truck on debt. So that's stupid. And so to make up for that, you're going to pay the stupid tax. And then hopefully that teaches you to not do that stupid crap anymore. Cool. Person knew already, though. Let's see. Competitive rent. 418. Advice needed for a house I couldn't afford anymore. Well, okay, bought a house a few years ago against better judgment, and that's worse probably than the truck because the house is probably much more. Granted, shouldn't be underwater. then. I was oblivious and not aware of the cost of upkeep, maintenance, and repairs of having a house. Yeah, that's the deal. People just think, oh, I need to have it. Oh, I'm not getting equity paying rent. Right. Well, you don't have to do the upkeep, maintenance, and repairs on it if you don't own it. If you're just paying rent. So, anyway, since getting the house, I worked 2 jobs to make ends meet. There wasn't even a point where I was working 3 jobs, but I realized I couldn't keep up with 3 jobs, so I let the 3rd job go anyway due to family responsibilities and changes in the family. That happened this year. I couldn't even do 2 jobs anymore, stuck with working just 1 job. Since then, my monthly bill has been bigger than my take-home pay. Monthly bill total maybe, has been bigger than my take-home pay. We started this year with 10K savings, now down to 3K, losing money every month. Yeah, you're selling that house. We also have repairs that need to be done, but unable to do so since we don't have money. Hopefully you didn't buy it with those repairs needed. You definitely need to have an independent person check out any house, inspect any house that you want to buy. You don't take the seller's person's word for it. We're already on 30K plus debt on the house alone because of previous repairs. Getting a new loan for more repairs will further increase our monthly bills, which was already overwhelming to begin with. Should we cut my losses and sell? Yes. That would be our, right? My spouse is in the military. We can stay in military housing until we get back on our feet. That's fabulous. I know the market is crazy right now. My concern is if I sell now and then try to get back to owning a house with better preparation, this time house prices could even be crazier after a few years, which will make owning a house close to impossible. It's not impossible. You just have to save a longer down payment, which will give you more time to prepare to not make dumb mistakes this time. And so, yeah, you gotta sell that. You can't anything that's a losing proposition like that, where you're losing money every month. That the house is supposed to be a blessing, not a money loser for you. And so, yeah, gotta sell it. No question. And this person knew that as well, probably. Knock knock 18-1. Do you say dash or hyphen? I normally say dash. Keep money secret from spouse. The answer is no, dear. What kind of money secret would you... Okay, let's just read it, shall we? We are on step 7. Okay, that's good. Well, spouse was never in for doing the baby steps. Well, you got to 7 anyway, so congratulations. But went along somewhat, didn't follow budget, took money out of the bank without discussing, did whatever he wanted, but did contribute income towards mortgage and bills. Okay, that's great. So what you would do would be discuss and compromise on there. Communicate, compromise. And if you can't do those things, you would get a counselor. I cried some money and don't really want to tell him about it. So if you do that, you're no better than he is. So, I mean, you can tell him and still you can do what you want to do with it. I mean, baby step 7, you can do whatever you want as far as investing more, or you can spend it, or you can just... save it outside of the market. But let's say, in thinking of putting in a high yield savings account for now, we don't have a mortgage, have our bills up to date, fund Roth IRA, and to matching 401k at work. Okay, make sure that's at least 15% of gross income. But if it is, then yeah, you can do whatever you want to in baby step 7, except go down into a lower baby step. For clarification, spouse has a separate side job account. He has drained that regularly and has gone into overdraft fees before for donuts and milk because he wanted them. He doesn't. Okay, and so what that is if people don't know, and probably in late October or November, I'll be doing a special video on things that you should know about banks. And so look out for that. But yeah, so overdraft fees before for donuts and milk because he wanted them. Okay. And so I know for certain that people have done things like pay a $35 overdraft fee for a candy bar. Get one candy bar. So it's like a dollar and a half, something like that, at a vending machine. And it costs you $35 to do that. He doesn't budget and is more impulsive. I know Ramsey would say it is our money. It is, but I mean, you're doing it your own way, and you have allowed it to happen. So that's that's the deal. That's the people, the person that is supposedly forthright in this. You let that happen. You married the person without that happening. So without discussing it and without developing a compromise. And so if you didn't do that, and if you didn't require that to get married, then that's on you, unfortunately. This could be like a good example. I have a friend of mine. He and his wife were both on the same page financially as far as debt and so forth when they got married. Sometime after they got married, he found out about Dave Ramsey and figured out that he was doing it wrong and his spouse was doing it wrong. Turns out his spouse is kind of a spender. And so they don't do a good job of discussing things. And they don't really work out compromises, anything like that. So they have gone to counseling, which is good, but I don't think she goes anywhere anymore. He still does sometimes. But as far as it's hard to make that work when one person is trying to do the baby steps because they are extreme. When you are not doing this stuff, not being intentional with money, spending money whenever you want to, and then all of a sudden one of you buys this. So, you got to have some grace for the person that did not get excited about the Dave Ramsey stuff because, when you were exposed to Dave, you heard a lot of the good things and the reasons and so forth for doing the baby steps and where it could get you. But a lot of times, especially men, when they tell their wives about it, the wives just hear, "You can't spend money on anything anymore ever again." That's what they hear, and so that's of course an exaggeration, but that is kind of like how they feel, what they feel about it. I'm assuming, and so you just got to be careful with that. You can't just even though it's the right thing to do, and I'll agree with you, the baby steps are absolutely the right thing to do. But you have to put your marriage ahead of the baby steps. And so you should be able to communicate about your feelings on money, and you should be able to compromise. And so if you can't do the baby steps exactly because of a marriage compromise, that's great. If you can keep your marriage together, if you want to keep your marriage together, that's fabulous. So you're not supposed to do that. So I would tell the person exactly what you're going to do with it. Like, this money that I have come into here is not going to go so you can spend more money. We're definitely not going to use it for that. But that person also, that spouse, pretty good life in step 7. You said we are on step 7. That person's not in step 7. That person is still on step 0, because to get donuts and milk and pay $35 fee for it, that's basically just debt, because you're going into debt to get that donuts and milk. And so then you would have to, you have to pay that either out of money you already have at the bank, or if you go negative, then you have to eventually make that positive. And so then you pay for it then. All right. Interesting question. But no, you don't. You have to be transparent. Just like that other one. Maybe this will be Transparency Day. On answering your financial questions. Skywalk Farms. 22, ran into a lot of money and am lost. Ran into it. Ooh, money. I mean, I guess there are worse things you could run into. Well, I mean, if it's like bars of gold, that probably would hurt. If it's cash, if it's a bunch stacked up, it may hurt. I have inherited a house. Oh, okay. I guess it could have run in the front door. I've inherited a house with $140K in equity on a 3% interest loan with $109K left on it. Okay. So that's like a positive, a $31K if you sell it. Monthly payments of $810. House Zillow estimate is $249. Oh, okay. Probably get $250K, and yeah, at least try to get the one more dollar, definitely, to $260K. Oh yeah, sure, okay. I have $111K in savings that'll make around $3,500 a month. Sole supporter. It has 100. You have 111 in savings. What was the 111 in savings for? That's a lot to just be in savings. But I mean, you could pay it off if you want to live there instead of where you are now. Let's see. Wife is stay-at-home mom with her 2 little ones. Do we sell the house and move into a nicer house and use the sell price for the current house as the down payment on a $325K? Where are you living now and let it appreciate more? Should I put it in stocks, crypto? No. No single stocks, no crypto, no ones and zeros, currencies, no metals, no. So, okay, so here's how it works. So basically, okay, so 109, and let's say you can sell it for the 260. So that means $151,000, minus the realtor cut and so forth. $151,000. Okay. Just because all of a sudden you're in your situation and then you have $151,000 in your hand doesn't mean, oh, I need to move into a nicer house than this one that I've already been that I inherited, or whatever I'm living in now. So it doesn't say if renting. 83 comments. I'm not going through that to find out if renting. I mean, if the 111K in savings was for a down payment for a house or partially, then fine, you're already looking for it and you're not buying it just because you got this money. So, I mean, that's fine, but to a 325K house. And of course, Zillow estimates not 100% correct all the time either. But why even a nicer house than that one? Why a more expensive house than that one? So I would challenge you to find a nicer house for the same amount of money than that. So you could not spend $325. Granted, you will have the nice $150,000. Well, you have $260 in down payment then. If all of this is down payment money and none of that's emergency fund. So if it is, maybe, $250 or something, a little bit less than $250. And so you could, and that'll take you down to a, $75K mortgage. And so, I mean, that would be fine. I would assume you would be fine affording it with a $75K mortgage. So that would be fine. It just depends on how much of the 111K is if any, is your emergency fund. And you just need to be honest about yourself. If all of a sudden your lifestyle didn't just creep up just because you are now going to have an additional, what did we say, 141, 151K in your hand, that then your lifestyle didn't just creep up because of that. So you got to be, I mean, and it can a little bit, but you want to be responsible with that, and you want to, what is that word? Missing that word. Hashtag dementia, folks. You want the person that left you that house. You want them to be proud of you. So whatever that, I can't remember what that word is. I'll look that up later if I remember, which I probably won't remember to do that either. All right. So, but yeah, basically you would want the person that left you that house, that was so nice to left you the house and believed in you enough to leave you that house, to believe in you, you would want them to be proud of you. I'm still thinking of the word about that. Like, not respect. It's somewhere along in those lines, though. Day in 13 Threat has been a poster on here before. Those of you who are Dave-ish, how much money did you keep in savings while in baby step 2? $1,000? Look, it says $1,000 in baby step 1, and baby step 2 doesn't say add more to that $1,000. It doesn't say that there. So yeah, I just did $1,000, assuming that would be the way to do it, since this way has millions of documented success stories, and so I didn't keep more. 85K remaining student loan, age 27 man, gross income 2K. Household expenses, approximately 65. Not all me, married with 1 newborn. Okay. Given that our income and expenses are higher than average, I'm not comfortable with $1,000 emergency fund only, and have currently. You get to do what you want to. This is just Dave's advice that's been proven to work. Your way has not been proven to work. Being more comfortable has not been proven to work. My question is, how much money is okay to have saved while still putting every extra dollar towards baby step 2? The amount that you think is okay, that you would be comfortable with, is fine, but you don't need to say baby step 2 anymore because you're not doing Dave's advice. So, that's up to you. It's your money, your life. You do get to make all the decisions. Dave has just figured out the best way to do it, and you aren't comfortable with that, so you get to do what you want, but you're not really on baby step 2 if you haven't even done baby step 1 correctly yet. So you're not really on baby step 2. So yes, I'm taking the baby steps away from you. I mean, you can basically do all of them except step 1, but because you didn't do step 1 right, not counting it. Sorry. And guess what? You don't need my approval. You don't need Dave's approval. You don't need anybody on Reddit's approval. So again, if I had this thought, would I post somewhere about it to get the average person's opinion? Would I even call Dave to get his opinion if this is what I wanted to do? No, I wouldn't. Because, I mean, him saying he's not comfortable with it means that he wouldn't do even if he called Dave, because he knows what it says. It says it right there. You don't have to call Dave to find out. It's not difficult to understand. And so if you don't want to do the baby steps, you don't do them. That's fine. I have a lot of friends that don't do them. It's fine. Aristotle Onassis, 65, expensive house in expensive neighborhood with 2.5 fixed rate. Better to sell and buy cheaper house with cash or rent it out. Okay, so you don't become a landlord just because you want to move. That's not, okay, so in my life, here we go, life. Never been a landlord, never thought about being a landlord. Not life. Oh, okay, so I'm going to move now. Oh, I guess I got to be a landlord. Nope, do not do that. You only be a landlord if you actually want to be a landlord. because landlord's a lot of work, and if you're going to hire somebody to manage it for you, that's going to take a lot of your profit away from you. All right, partner and I started every dollar 4 months ago and hired a coach. Okay, he's been amazing. Wouldn't you ask him instead of the Reddit then? And really recommend it. We really recommend that. Okay. The most glaring problem is that our house payment is 45%. Yep. Time to move. Yep. Too much. We can sell the house and take about $1.2 million in equity to buy a different house with cash, or we can rent it out and net about $4K a month, unless you have to repair something, unless you have to pay a management company to manage it for you. So, you know, people only think about, we can get about $4,000 a month for that. Nothing will ever break on the house, and it will never need a new roof, and we won't have renters that destroy the property. None of that's going to happen. So, you know, and that's the thing they don't think about. They just think about, oh, well, it'll be $4,000 a month. Oh, we should do that then, instead of just selling it. No, you just sell it, and then you get the money, and then you don't have any of the worries. I want to sell, buy with cash, and close this debt book. Deal. Talked me into it. Is the partner a problem in this? Let's see. Requires we move to a much less desirable neighborhood. Too bad. You got to be in that 15%. And of course, if you buy completely with the cash of it, that payment is 0%, and that allows you to do much better things with your money than pay for housing. Partner wants to keep house because of a very desirable location, likely will increase in value. Yeah, but again, you have this unknown of stuff that can happen. All the stuff I already mentioned. Even other stuff can happen. Because of very while providing future cash flow. Again, if you're going to manage it yourself, which is a lot of work, and if nothing breaks on it ever, how do people balance this common issue? You guys got a powwow about that. If it doesn't sound like either you, because this person did not say it'll net about this, and the person just wants to sell, buy cash, and close the debt book, so just wants to be done with debt. While partner wants to debt leverage and have a mortgage in order to keep a house that they can rent out. And so partner wants to debt leverage, you don't, and that's about as far apart as you can get on the Ramsey scale. So you got to communicate about it. Compromise. Hard to do a compromise on that because you can't half rent it and half sell it. So that's gonna be a tough compromise on that. But yeah, as always, communicate, compromise, and if you can't do that, you do the third C, which is counseling. So yeah, I get it. I would be with you. Sell it and buy it with cash, and then you don't have any problems. It could end up fine, sure. But have you ever heard of a house that never needed a roof? That never had any problems? And you guys have not been landlords before. So there's probably a learning curve in that. And again, it is work. So you know how now, you know, like when you're renting and you call somebody, when there's a problem with the building, you just call them and they have to fix it. Yeah, that the person that gets the call now is you. Or somebody you pay a bunch of your profit to. And then that 4K is going to go down per month. So, yeah, you got to think about all that. And, you know, some people do want to be landlords, and that's fine. But you don't just become a landlord just because all of a sudden now you're going to move out. because your payment's 45%, which, yeah, you never should have bought that. But, you start with where you are today. No landscape 1438. Term life insurance needed if anyone is dependent on your income. Yes, you need 10 times the amount of your gross income per year in insurance. Okay, so I have 500K in coverage with the military. Is it worth buying additional term life insurance for myself to take care of family? Saw a video where Dave recommended your spouse gets coverage in the awful event they pass away. Yes, so getting a quote for her, I was like, do I need some too, even if I have STLI? Got a quote with the USSA, and it was really good. Yeah, term life insurance is not expensive. And what would Dave do, Flair? So yeah, that is the deal. So you said you saw the video where Dave recommended the spouse gets coverage in case the awful event they pass away. Right, because if assuming traditional roles here, assuming you're a man in the military and spouse is a female and perhaps taking care of kids, you're going to have to hire Mary Poppins. And so that's where that money comes from for life insurance on her. Now, obviously, they don't have money coming in if it's for you. So you have to have 10 times the amount of your income. And I'm going to go ahead and guess, well, I mean, if you make 50K a year, and I guess that is 10 times the amount. If you want, I believe it's 10 to 12 times, so that you are, a little bit extra, and it's not going to cost a little bit extra more to raise it from 10%. I mean, excuse me. Yeah, 10 times to 12 times is not going to be that much different, but regardless, that it's 10 times. So it's if you only have 500K and your income right now would be more like 600, 750K, when you multiply it by 10 or 12, then you should take additional out as well. Yes. And it is really cheap. Yes. Well worth. Just from deleted, got too hot. There's only one comment, so I don't know. Sometimes I think they just said it yesterday's show. I think they make up a name to post something and then delete it, just so they can, I guess, get some feedback there, or so they can rile up the Reddit. Next move, renting or home ownership. Yes. As far as which one, depends on your situation. And if you want to be a homeowner. I became debt-free last year after paying off my car and student loans. Around 75K. Great. Salary's up to 88K from 55 in 2017. So my savings journey is on the newer end, 12K. High yield savings account, 100K between pension and 401K with 5% match. Make sure you're doing 15% of full gross income, and make sure the 5% match from the company is not part of your 15%. You have to be putting in 15%. The match is just gravy on the biscuit, as Mr. Ramsey says. I've been renting in the Boston area, which continues to get more dicey. Between roommate changes, I've seen broker fees, and the numbers keep going up, and renting with strangers puts me at risk if someone decides to bail on the lease, because most landlords only do family leases. Yeah. Always wanted a home. I don't plant to have kids. That's good, because planning is not how you get kids. Debt-free Flair right there. Let's see what the rest of it is. What were we doing? We were planting to have kids. Currently single, but we're really ready to get a dog and have a small outdoor space of my own. Okay, that's fine, as long as you can afford it. I got pre-approved for 280K, which means commuting pretty far to the city 2-3 days a week. Yep. Boston, man. Boston, do take a bite. Definitely. And so if you got to commute pretty far, but you want a house, if you want it bad enough to do that commute, that's fine as long as it is 25% of your take home pay on a 15-year fixed. Unreasonable to chase the idea of home ownership. No. First 6 months of expenses. Since you want to buy a house, 6 months of expenses in a fully funded emergency fund first, and then step 3B, which goes right there, that would be saving the down payment. And depending on the amount of the house, you can save up a larger down payment, and that will get your mortgage down to where it is 25% of your take-home pay. And if you have to not invest for 2 or 3 years, Dave is fine with that. Because in a high cost of living area, you got to do that sometimes. But commuting pretty far may also take care of that and get that house price down. I have good resources for repairs, consulting, and larger projects because my dad is a contractor. And my brother has built his own home. Are you thinking about buying a fixer-upper? Is that it? Anyone in a similar boat with any insights? Should I focus on cheaper rent and maxing out retirement, or consider making sure I have a place to live when I retire? That's up to you. We don't know. I mean, you shouldn't leave that up to us. Job is very stable at a higher ed institution with good benefits. Okay, great. That would just depend on you. You do have to have the full 6-month emergency fund before you even start to save for a down payment, and that mortgage has to be a 15-year fixed, and that has to be the payment has to be no more than 25% of your take-home pay. And so if you want a house there, it doesn't matter on anybody's opinion whether you get one or not. As long as you fit in with Dave's financial advice, it's up to you if you want to continue renting and max out retirement or get a house. It depends on which one is most important to you. The younger you are, the more time you have to continue investing. It does not say an age on here, and so that would be part of it for me, your age. So, but that's going to be something that you need to decide because you're going to be the one doing it. None of us are going to do that. Delete it again. Same person, I wonder? Nope. Because this one's debt free and this one is 16K in student loan plus other stuff. What would Dave do, Flair? Well, I'm going to tell you what Dave would do. See this little list over here to the right? It's called the baby steps. And if you go to his website, you can see a nice color picture with that on there. That's going to be his advice. And yes, it is always worth it. Current situation, 16K, student loan. I don't care about the percent. 14.4, almost 14.5K auto loan. Emergency funds, 7.5K. Well, you'd get that emergency fund down to 1,000, so you'd be able to put 6.5K to the lowest debt. If it is that auto loan, you don't have any credit cards or any smaller things. Income, $6,200 a month after taxes and insurance. Current margin, $1,900 a month. Okay, and that so you can put all that on the debt, the 6.5, and then $1,900 a month. Retirement investments, 23K. You can stop investing. You should stop investing. That's the advice. I'm a little worried what could happen later this year with the economy and election. So that no, not with the economy and election. No, you don't. So here we go. Okay. This is the fun thing. This is fun. Okay, so with bad things happening to you, so say the economy tanks or whatever you think it's going to do, which it's not, and the election, which either way, it's not going to be great for the election. We know this. We know this to be true. But also, after almost every presidential election, the market goes up after almost every presidential election. So I feel like, for me, I want to build up a bigger emergency fund. However, I'm sick of... Oh, I didn't finish. Phrasing. About the economy and the election, or whatever the heck else you're worried about. Doing the baby steps as fast as you can to be getting in the higher level baby steps will make your life easier if anything bad like that happens, like you think would be happening. Turn off the news and do the baby steps. However, I'm sick of trying to do too many things at once, and the idea of going gazelle intense and finishing all the debt once and for all is enticing. Do it. Would it be worth dropping my emergency fund to 1K and attacking that? Yes, that's what it says to do. And even if it's you, yes. This applies to everybody. That is the beauty of it. It applies to everybody. There's no exceptions. If there's some kind of emergency, you're pausing the baby steps. But other than that, the steps don't change. The order never changes. Also, I feel like I need to say this all the time. Baby steps 1, 2, 3, one at a time in order without going to a further baby step. So you're not investing while you're in baby steps 1, 2, and 3. So once you are done with baby step 3, then that's when you do 4, 5, and 6 all together if they are applicable. If they are not, if you're renting and you don't have kids, then you're just doing step 4 and you're on step 7. Congratulations. And then when you decide you want to buy a house, you're going back down to 3B. And so you're leaving step 7. It was fun while you were there. But step 3B is now you're saving for a down payment again. And so, yeah, let's see. I think I would be about, maybe it's about, could be above. I think I would, be able to finish it all by January. By January. What is July, August, September, October, November, December, January? That's 7 months. That's 7 months. People spend years doing the baby steps. So, yeah. And a lot of times, you will, by going gazelle intense and being more intentional with money, it happens faster than you even anticipated happening. So, yes, always a good idea in every situation. Seagull 88. Do I sell or wait? 25K student debt, 35K personal loan, 65K in credit card. Almost read that together because the period belongs there, my friend. 65K in credit card period, and then assets. So I almost read it as credit card assets. I'm like, what? Credit cards are not assets. Assets 30K on Robinhood. People love the trendy stuff. Love the Robinhood. 300K equity in a rental duplex. 150K equity. So does that mean you don't own either of them? In permanent house. Option 1, don't sell anything. That's not going to be it. Slowly pay off debt at 2K per month. Rental brings in 900 per month of profit. So you can only do 1,100 without that rental. Profit 900 a month per profit. And don't, remember, as soon as he has to replace a roof or something like that expensive, there goes all his money, all his profit. Option 2, sell Robinhood and rental to pay off debt. If the Robinhood is an, I don't know if that's just a regular brokerage account, yes. If it's a, that's a different question up there. If it's a regular brokerage account, yes. If it's a retirement account, you do not touch that. You just pay it off. You work harder and spend less to pay it off. You don't do one quick thing to get out of debt completely immediately. So option 3, sell the house, move into duplex, rent the other side, pay off debt. You don't even have to be a renter anymore. You can let that part of your life go. If you insist on doing it, you can. But option 4 is sell Robinhood and slowly pay off the rent. Yeah, the slowly pay off stuff is not an option in the regardless. You're going to pay it off as fast as you can by not spending money on anything else. But yeah, I'm selling everything that's not a retirement account and getting completely out of debt. And if that means you can stay in your permanent house, if that, that maybe you can pay some on that and get that mortgage down. If you do have a mortgage on it, I'm assuming, unless 150K is it. But yeah, I'm selling that rental duplex. Assuming you want to stay in the permanent house because you called it a permanent house. Alrighty, KF Buttons 69. What does Dave say? Conventional loan. Why does Dave say conventional loans have lower rates than VA? Dave isn't always right, but this seems about something pretty awful to be wrong. I have an excellent I love debt score. That's your credit score, FICO score. 40% down monthly payment is about 15% of net household income. No debt other than my mortgage, 800K in retirement and brokerage accounts. Spouse is 10% disabled, so we don't pay a funding fee. Now, if you're not paying any extra fee, I think that's what Dave is basing that on. That's why he doesn't like VA loans, because unless you are disabled, and I think the service member has to be disabled. So, I mean, I'm going to take this person's word for it that spouse being 10% disabled qualifies you to be eligible to get out of that fee. And so if that's it, that's fine. Plus the seller's on the hook for a term inspection fee. All right. Conventional mortgage nearly half a point higher. Whoa, a whole 0.5% than my VA loan, with everything else being equal. Well, it's not if you had to pay the funding fee. So that's the reason. So he's not talking about your situation with your 10% disabled spouse. And which, like, again, I don't know for sure that gets rid of the funding fee. But if you have that in that situation already, the person didn't put honestly on here. So I have no reason to suspect that the person's not being honest about that. Locked in at nearly 2 percentage points under current conventional 30-year loan rates. That's also, he wouldn't do that. He would do a 15. Why does Dave push this so hard? Because not everybody is partially disabled or disabled, so that they don't have to pay that funding fee. And that funding fee is kind of like their version of PMI. But you pay that for the life of the loan. You don't get out of that once you have 20% equity, like you do for PMI, which is private mortgage insurance, which is insurance for the lender. If you don't pay the mortgage, it's not. So you are paying for insurance for them if you don't pay the mortgage payment. So, and the funding fee is basically that same kind of thing. And people that aren't disabled, I don't think there's any other way to get out of it. And I was not aware that spouse disability would qualify you for that. But if that's so, in your case, it sounds like would be a little bit better. But if you got a 30, you're not following Dave's advice anyway. So why does it matter? Again, why run it by Dave's stuff? Why do that? And I don't know. Some people, they get so in their own situation, like it doesn't come up in their head to say, well, why wouldn't he do that? And then think, oh, wait a minute. Not everybody that gets VA loans is disabled, and so they would have to pay this. So, may just be too in his own head about his own situation, and that happens. Or her. Did not specify. Gotta figure it out. Gotta figure out. Okay. Restarting the baby steps. Uh-oh. That means he must have stopped them at some point. We have decided today that we will restart the baby steps. And if you want to have financial peace, you should do the baby steps. Ba-da-ba-ba, ba-da-ba. That's one of the 2 baby step songs I have, and that is in the music playlist on youtube.com/coachstevemoney in the music playlist. We had life happen. Yep, life can happen, and you don't have to purchase big money items. You don't have to sometimes. Sometimes you choose to. We also thought of paying debt different ways and seemed as a struggle. We had also thought of paying debt different ways and seemed as a struggle. Seemed to be a struggle, maybe. Till today we realized we have to go back to the baby steps. Yeah. Because all year, well, let's finesse it this way and let's do this way and so forth. So even if you have expenses come up that you actually need, quote unquote, need to do, that everybody in the world would agree that you needed to do that, which almost is never the case, but let's just pretend it is. Let's just pretend you had to purchase some big money items, had to, and so you just have to, I mean, basically you were off the baby steps for a second. Actually, not really. You just, if you have to buy something, you have to buy it. So how did you do it? You took out more debt or whatever. And so that's definitely not being on the Ramsey advice. So, yep, both have bigger shovels, and we're able to put about $1,200 a month extra on debt. Okay. At this time, we have $800 in our savings. Going to complete the 1K and really go at it. Really tired of all these credit card debt line items. Just feels at times it will take forever. Yeah, that's the other great thing. That's something I don't think I've heard anybody mention about it as a positive for paying off all your debt. When you make your budget, then you don't have 6 credit card lines there for the payment. That kind of thing. So, yeah, I don't think I've ever heard anybody mention that. I mean, that's a lower, obviously not being in debt is the best part of that, but, it's a bonus to not have those extra lines there, to not have to do that extra math in the spreadsheet or wherever you keep your budget. Real Brick 8417. Should we move? Let's see. I've been trying to call into the show. Into is one word. But it's tough. Yes, indeed. Very popular show. Also, the video is delayed, so do not wait till 4 p.m. Eastern Time, Monday through Friday, to call. The time to call is 2 p.m. Eastern Time. 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. is the live radio show. The video is on 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern Time. And it is 2 hours, whereas the radio is 3 hours. But the 1 hour that's missing is all radio commercial time, and that's cut out for you. So I thought I'd see what you guys think. Should we move? My husband is 40. I'm 37. Baby steps 4, 5, 6. Congratulations. My husband was hired 2 years ago by the federal government. I'm sorry. He is making $88K per year and a high locality rate. Okay. We live in Pennsylvania, but he is paid the DC pay rate at the base he works at. Okay. I'm assuming that would be more. They're moving his district out of state to Columbus, OH. Can't wait to get back there. Which is a lower pay scale. His supervisor is retiring this year, and they are currently putting the pieces together for him to get a supervisor position. We move and he starts that position. Can't wait to see what's next. There he will be making $91K a year. They will pay our relocation expenses, closing costs, and incentive bonus of 25% of his salary. Yeah, if you want to keep that job and keep working there, move to Columbus, Ohio. How about that? We'll be neighbors. He is supposed to receive the official details in the orders he will receive by the end of the month. Okay? We need to begin the moving process by the end of October. Okay, I'll be there before you will. Here are the concerns. We've lived in our house for 16 years and we only owe about $100K. Our mortgage payment is $1K. And we have a super low interest rate, 3.75, and we were on track to have the house paid off early. We do have about $160K in equity we can use toward a home in Columbus, Ohio. We would need to spend about $300 to $350 on a house in the Columbus area. Okay, here again with the need, we would need to spend about $300 to $350K. No, you wouldn't. You would live in a $250K house. I'm sure, even if that has to be outside of the city limits or whatever. There's always options there. What you don't need to do is paint yourself into the 300 plus K house when you're trying to decide about what to do. If we move, we know he has his job. If we don't move, they will give him another position at his current pay grade, but it may take time to find one. And he may have to take unemployment until then, and it may not be at the same base. So it may not be at the same locality rate. Right. He has tried applying for jobs. You know, that's government. That's government for you. At the base he works on at the same locality rate, but nothing has stuck so far. Yeah, I stay home and homeschool our kids and make about $7K a year on the side doing dog walking for a neighbor and cleaning our church. You own a church? We have young teens. All our family is here and we are involved in our church. We are open to moving, but want to make sure it makes sense financially to move. Financially, yes, it would. But again, you're complicating the issue by it being a 300 plus K house. That's not necessary. Having the 160K in equity, that's great, and that'll get the mortgage down from 300 to 140. And so, but I wouldn't paint myself into a dollar amount at a minimum dollar amount for the house. What you do is you do a maximum dollar amount for the house. And if it's at near that maximum, then that's got to be the bestest house on earth. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so I'm looking at what you need, the number of bedrooms, et cetera, in the approximate area of the base there, wherever that is in Columbus. I don't even know where that would be. I don't know if that would be somewhere downtown or if I have no idea where that would be there. Is that Army? Just by the federal government. Okay. Yeah. I would guess downtown, but I don't know. But it's DC at the base he works at, so it's at a base. So yeah, I have no idea where in Columbus that would be. They kept that a secret from me while I was there. Where were we? Oh, makes sense financially to move. Yeah, it does. I mean, it's not fun leaving all family behind, and you would have to buy a new church in Columbus. I'm kidding. I know she means the church they go to. I think where did I get that? Oh, 16 candles. We're across the street from my church. You own a church. And I mean, you could probably get dog walking clients though to replace that part, but of course, nothing's going to replace the family there. So, I mean, basically, you and spouse need to make that decision. So, again, doesn't say how many teams, so we don't know like how big a house you're thinking about, or maybe you're thinking about too big a house. So I think see the amount you're saying for the house is the only thing about this that gives me pause for that. Otherwise, I'm like, I don't know why you wouldn't move, other than if staying near the family is the most important. And in that case, you just got to get another job. Maybe not with the federal government anymore. Maybe he doesn't work with the federal government anymore because they do stuff like that. We're just going to move here, and then you have to move there too. Icy Tip, 1696. Sounds uncomfortable. Having trouble coming up with a house budget. All right. Well, you don't spend money on anything except putting it towards the debt, towards the snowballs. You don't do anything. That's an exaggeration. My bad. See how it's not good? It takes away from the point you were trying to make. My spouse and I would like to purchase a home. Okay. Oh, I see. What I see. Okay. Talking about a budget to buy a house, maybe how much to save for it, etc., etc. We have no debt. That part is excellent. We're in different realms when it comes to budget and what we think we can afford. Is it 25% of your net or gross income? Take home pay. So closer to net. Do we include property taxes? Insurance is included. I think taxes is included too. Yeah. We gross 200 to 250 a year. We have 150K in a high yield savings account to put down without touching our fully funding emergency fund, fully funded emergency fund or investments. Then our current home will sell for 300K, which we plan to put towards the mortgage. Okay. All right. I don't see a problem. So that means you have 450 to put down. And so, again, I would tell you then that doesn't mean you got to buy a $750,000 house. You could buy a 450 or even cheaper than that, and then you have cash left over. Wouldn't that be great? So it doesn't say anything about, oh, there's only 7 comments here. I'm curious if someone brings that up or OP says that. Talk peace instead of math. Yep. I'm starting at the lowest number either of you is comfortable at. Yep. There we go. Who is that? First Vaders. All right. So if my max is 800K, I tell the realtor my budget is 720K. Exactamundo. Exactly. Then if I can't find anything, then I have room to increase the budget with the realtor without stressing about it. Indeed. So use the 1/8 rule. Does not take home. It's net of taxes pay. Yes, housing costs of PITI plus HOA plus PMI plus maintenance. The maintenance is not included for sure. There are plenty of rules of thumb. All right. I just want to see if there we go. OP. OP doesn't say, yeah, not saying what kind of range they're looking at, but a lot of people just buy way too much house and for no reason, just because they want to buy too much house, which they should not do. But I mean, theoretically, fine. When you got 450K to put down, that gives you a lot of options, because then even on a 750 house, you still only have a $300,000 mortgage on a $750,000 house. So, and that, again, how you are in a situation like that, first you have no debt. How about that? And having no debt allowed them to save up that much for a down payment. And along the way, they got the equity happening in the house that they're in now. And it's hard to do that stuff when you are paying debt payments every month. Gridry 716, new transmission versus new car. That's rough. And 750 on it. Yeah, that one's rough. That one's, even without knowing more about it, I would be tempted probably to call that one a day. Do a time of death on the vehicle, and fortunately, you still got to pay it off. 7,500, excuse me, on the car, and I've been trying to pay on it as much as I can. It's 24 Nissan Pathfinder with 160,000 miles on them, now needing a new transmission. The cost is $6,000. I would get another quote on that from a different mechanic. The car might be worth that, yeah. What is the smartest thing to do? New transmission and clearly keep making payments as I have been. Attempt to trade in with. You wouldn't do trade in because you and be slightly upside down. You're going to be way more than slightly upside down. Because what you're thinking about is just that's 6,000. Let's see, it's 7,500, and the car might be worth that. So assuming the car is worth 6,000, the dealer is not going to give you 6,000 trade-in on it. Probably 5,000 or even less, 4,500, 4,000 even. The dealer is going to make money on you. So when you do trade-ins like that, you're being taken advantage of. You should always buy and sell private sale. That way you leave the dealer out of it, and that way that's the best for you. Selling or buying. Seeking advice or turning to alternate suggestions, please be kind. Just starting my journey. There's a hiccup already. Indeed. So yeah, the problem is paying it off. So you would have to pay off that car regardless. Whether you fix it or not. And so, yeah, the cost is $6,000 with a bad transmission. Yeah, I'm gonna say that's not you're not gonna get much for it from the dealer at all if they have to replace the transmission on it. So yeah, you would still get out of it definitely if you want to. If you don't want to pay the 6,000 for the transmission and you want to get a new car, you would save up cash to buy a much cheaper new car than that, $2,000, something like that. And, you could have problems with that as well. Unfortunately, that's just the way it goes. But have your mechanic check out any car that you want to buy. But I would understand wanting to get out of that one because you do hate to put the exact amount of something in a car that is only worth that much. And sometimes you got to do that. I'm not a car guy. I don't know enough about it, but I would definitely get a different quote on replacing the transmission. And to even see if you need a new transmission. If only one guy told you need a new transmission and you don't know that for sure yourself, then you need to ask somebody else. Chi-Town Cubs 20. Because guess what? Sometimes people lie, even people that work at as mechanics. Chi-Town Cubs 2016 1.3K credit card debt versus baby. Hi all. Well, you hate to have that in a cage match. Hi guys. So I make 43K a year and have 1.5K in savings and keep my checking account around 600 minimum. Which that doesn't bother me because that does not mean they don't have a zero-based budget. So you do always have to have enough in your checking account to get you to the next paycheck. Zero-based budget doesn't mean that at any given point you will have $0 in your checking account. That's not how it works. My fiancée just started a new job on 6/3 and makes about $42 an hour with shift differential, being registered sonographer. We also just found out we're expecting a baby. When's the wedding? And she is around 10 weeks pregnant. When's the wedding? I have only recently started really trying to learn personal finances and care to ever save money. Within a few months, hopefully with your fiance, you have discussed money before. Now that you have a baby on the way, hopefully you have done that before. Within a few months, I paid off around 2K in credit card debt and a few medical bills. The 1.5K was supposed to be our emergency fund. Where did I miss that? Oh, that in savings. Okay. We're very cheap rent. It's only supposed to be $1,000. See, it says right there. It says $1,000. It doesn't say 1.5. Not about being comfortable. It has nothing to do with it. We also, oh no, did that already. We have very cheap rent, $200 a month. That is cheap. Do I stop all my aggressive debt paying and just do monthly in order to just save everything I can for the baby coming? Okay, so you don't save everything you can for the baby coming so that you can spend money on things the baby does not need, but you want the baby to have. That's not what that's for. Why you pause and only make minimum payments on things is so you can pile up cash in case you have to pay for anything, any medical things with the baby, the hospital, even the just the cost for labor and delivery, even if it's all perfectly fine. So if you have to pay for that, for example, or just no matter what, you never know what can happen, unfortunately. And so you would just pile up cash until mom and baby are home safe. And then once they are home safe, then that's when you go full steam ahead on the baby steps again. And you keep buying things for the baby just because you want the baby to have it to a minimum while you have debt. Now, once you get the full emergency fund, then you can put whatever. I'm fine with you putting whatever you want in the budget, but like the baby needs somewhere to sleep, and formula and diapers, basically, is all the baby needs. Okay. Doesn't need a princess suite crib. Just has to have somewhere to sleep. You can get a cheap crib and it will be fine. So you got to be careful with that. But yeah, you do stop aggressive debt paying. You pause the baby steps. And so this is the one time in that case, like if you have any type of emergency, that's when you are pausing the baby steps, using the emergency fund if you have to, and then building the emergency fund back up. So, but when you know something happening, like stork mode, or in advance you are going to be losing your job, then at that point you would also pause the baby steps. You're still paying minimums on debt, but you're pausing the baby steps and just saving cash. Stacking cash, as the kids call it these days. And then once you have another job, or in the baby scenario, mom and baby are home safe, it's out, and everything's great, then you would apply whatever cash you had laying around left over that you didn't spend on things the baby doesn't need. Then you would put that on your lowest debt at that point if you're still in step 2. All right. And that doesn't change the order of the baby steps. You're just pausing right where you are, and then when you unpause, you're right back in the same baby step you left in. Missed the sponsor, Crinkly Water Bottle. They're back now. Good to have you back, guys. Currently in baby steps 3 and 6. That's a negative, Ghost Rider. The pattern is full. You're doing it wrong. Just bought a home for $599K. So expensive. And paid purchase expenses with cash. Put $150K down for total mortgage of $449K. That sounds better. Build an extensive budget forecasting through the end of current year, 25. I don't know what that means. This is like the difference of, this means not the fiscal year then. Calendar year. I got it. Okay, calendar year. Okay, but that's gonna, for a normal human, that's the end of the fiscal year too. Assume the solar loan. of 53K with a minuscule 1.98 interest rate. Assumed it. Oh, from the it included that in with the house. Interesting. Rather than do that, should have just put that on the mortgage instead. But I guess you want to save the percentage rate on that by assuming it. But for a whopping 22 more years. Yeah, see, oh gosh. I consider the solar as cost of the house, as cost of the house. All right, fine. Consider this a part of the mortgage payment. Yeah, the mortgage and that you should be paying off early. But the down payment should not have eaten into baby step 3, so that is the part you are doing wrong. If baby step 3 was never done, you shouldn't have been buying a house. If baby step 3 was never completed. If it was completed and you used some of that money to put as down payment, you're doing it wrong. That is not, house is not an emergency. Saving 15% into retirement. Well, then you're doing 4 already. Maybe some people don't consider themselves on it, I guess, if they've started investing in or continuing to do so. But yeah, you're still on that. Which again, you shouldn't do unless step 3 is done. Currently working to build 6 months savings while making extra payments toward my mortgage. Is it better to slowly build to my 6 months expenses while paying off the mortgage? No, you get your emergency fund done before that. That's why it's in baby step 3 and that's baby step 6. And also probably another person that didn't know or just doesn't care because that's not what they want to do. So doesn't even think about it. But steps 1, 2, and 3, one at a time. And you do not go to a further baby step. Like if you don't have baby step 3 done, you are not even saving a down payment, which is not on here. It's baby step 3B right here, the down payment. So you don't even start the down payment for that. You don't even start looking for a house until you have finished baby step 3 first. So you're doing it wrong. So you definitely wouldn't pay more to the mortgage while you don't have a freaking emergency fund. Ridiculous. Oh, we got numbers here. 1, that's the first option. Slowly build. That's going to be a negative on the number 1. 2, complete 6 months expenses first, then mortgage. So he is also doing 4, and so maybe we can assume no. Where would the solar loan fit in the baby steps? Well, my friend, I'm so glad you asked. I'm so glad you asked. Guess what? You did it wrong. Solar loan is step 2. So that you should pay immediately. Now, in this situation, since you're already doing it wrong, I might even suggest you would be paying. I mean, if you're paying extra on the mortgage anyway, I would just pay minimum on the mortgage payment and pay off the solar loan first. And so that would be a lot quicker that way. And so not just doing 3 and 6, but the person doesn't consider 4 apparently because I already started it, so that's done. Maybe. So yeah, but really probably in step 2 that would have done, and you would just be in step 2 and you would put all of your emergency fund except $1,000 on that solar loan. And then how much is that? Solar loan is $53,000. Oh man. Yeah. So at this point, yeah, I would just consider it part of the mortgage, and you just don't get to pay off the mortgage early until you pay off the solar loan. And and the person is also gonna, since he's gonna compare the interest rates and say, well, I should leave that interest rate growing for the 22 years while I'm paying off the house instead. And there's no need to ask what Dave's opinion of it is or post it on the Ramsey. You're already doing what you want to do. But as far as the question, is it better? none of what you're doing is better. But in the situation you are in, it would be to pay off the lower interest rate first, because that is not technically built into the house since it's like that. Like I said, I would have put that on, if you would have put that on the mortgage as an extra 53K cash out that the seller could take, and then they could pay off that loan to get rid of that, then that may be too difficult as well, because you're selling it at the same time. But I'm sure they could have worked it out somehow as far as doing that. So, but yeah, the fact of assuming a loan like that, yeah, that's just I don't know. But I mean, basically doing it like he wants to do it anyway, so probably doesn't matter that much. Kyle Murray, okay. Bought a truck I don't want to pay off. Currently upside down. Didn't we have one of those previously? Previously on answering your financial. Bought a truck I don't want to pay off. Currently upside down a few thousand. How do I get out of this the least expensive way possible? I made a huge mistake. Yeah. You would save up the few thousand and then sell it. You have to pay it off. The amount you get for selling it and what you come up with cash to pay it off, and that's how you do that. The least expensive, and the longer it takes, the more it's going to cost you, and that again we call stupid tax. Living in Naples, Florida. Okay, I don't know if there's anything else with that or not. Not clicking on it. Evening Anteater 422, what would you do? Not what Dave would do, but what would you do? So not wanting the Dave opinion. Downsizing to get gazelle intense on baby step 6. Okay, that is perfectly Dave acceptable. Live alone and have the opportunity to live in a 400 square foot apartment for free. If I do this, I could pay my primary property 2-bedroom house mortgage off in 4 years instead of the projected 10 years. I would rent the primary property out. So you're gonna move out and let some renter live in it and destroy it, possibly. And then one day you're going to move back into it. I've done this before successfully when I worked interstate. Would you consider a drastic downsize to finish baby step 6? Moving out of the house that you're paying off doesn't seem like that's a win to me. But, I mean, you get to make that decision. But, yeah, I mean, you want to finish baby step 6 and get into step 7, but that requires you to move out of your baby step 6 house? That sounds nutty to me, dog. Timely extension 804. Didn't that person just ask one right there? The person that thought he was in baby steps 3 and 6 only? Oh, and that one was... Yeah, this one is newer. Is that the same person? Oh, I'm doing the wrong thing. This one here. Oh, federal student loan. Oh, so also has student loan is asking for a friend. Roughly 100K federal. I already had a friend. Student loans that I've been paying them for 11 years. Payment is income based, so you've been paying the minimum. Undergrad student loans are forgiven after 20 years, 25 for postgrad. All of them? All of them are. Generally not. I'm thinking if she keeps paying the minimum, these will be forgiven and the balance becomes taxable income in that payoff year. Am I incorrect in that assessment? That would not, so I had not heard of that actually, that the forgiven amount becomes taxable. That's pretty cool that the government is at least going to get something out of it from you, but yeah, I do not know that. Why Americans feel so poor? Flaky calligrapher. 62. That is cartographer's maps. Calligrapher is fancy writing. I've been watching a documentary with that title on YouTube. Why Americans Build. It's not new, but worth watching. I think it discusses the perception and debates the reality of the view that middle class is shrinking. One statistic really stood out for me. 60% of Americans surveyed stated that their level of debt is the main reason for their financial anxiety. Well, you would think they would be trying harder to get out of it. So they're willing to keep the anxiety in order to not sacrifice non-needs. Not stagnant wages, not inflation, debt. This is what Dave Ramsey gets right? Do you think that debt is what makes us believe that our standard of living is falling? No, I don't know. But again, this is like financial theory. This is also, what is it? Like mentality theory and such like that. I'm not so much interested in that. I just know that people do nutty things and they think nutty things. But I mean, thinking about debt is definitely financial anxiety. So I believe them because it definitely is. Especially if you don't have any and you start thinking about having some. That's definitely financial anxiety. So I can understand that. Like the stagnant wages, inflation. Well, you said the debt, right? Not inflation or stagnant wages, right? Because people do blame those, but those don't matter. So if you all of a sudden start making less money, then guess what? You can't buy as much stuff. You have to cut your budget. If inflation makes things too expensive at the grocery store, you have to buy other cheaper things at the grocery store. So you can change those. You can change the level of debt as well, but people don't seem to want to do that either. But but the wages and the inflation, that's like easier to deal with for me because you can't control either of them, but you can control how it affects you. Same thing with the debt, though. You could get rid of that as well if you chose to not buy other things that you do not need. Assist substantial 639. Just need advice / discussion with debt. I'm going to give you this short and sweet. Does not appear so. That's not bad, I guess. 28-year-old man making $50K a year. Rent is split with the missus. What? Rent is split. Combined incomes if married. I don't know really how. Obviously, I know how. But just kind of blinked in between a credit card consolidation loan and new credit card debt. It's around the 40K mark. Yeah. Yep. You know how. Yep. Decided to do it. It was dumb. Truck payment $540 a month. Another dumb thing. I've already posted it on Marketplace. I owe $27K still. And I mean, try a vehicle thing like cars.com or even Craigslist rather than just Facebook Marketplace. I owe $27K still and think I can pretty easily get $30K to $33K. Maybe. 2016 F-150. I don't know about that, Doug. I've been so clearly with getting rid of it. I don't know what that means because it's really been flawless in the year I've owned it, but the payment is killing me. I've been so clearly with getting rid of it. I don't know what that means. Doesn't want to, I guess, but the payment's killing me. Hopefully with the 6K or so profit, yeah, I wouldn't hold my breath on that. I plan to buy something with cash. That way I get rid of the truck loan and start attacking the credit card debt. We have goals to buy a house at some point, and I know it's never going to happen if I stay stubborn with my spending. Indeed. Good. Also have a kid coming in October, so I'm trying to find something safe-ish for a child, but nothing that's going to cost an arm and a leg in repairs. Trying to find that balance. Both my children at the same time were fine in a compact car. You don't need a suburban assault vehicle. to have one child be transported. Dumb. That's just as dumb as your stupid truck. I just want to make sure I'm not overlooking a part of the plan. There would be that justification on spending stuff. Well, yeah, I gotta do everything again. And yes, credit card spending is going to get under control. It doesn't seem like it. That's why the advice is to not use them, to pay them off and close them and cut them up. I've just been having to rotate them in order to make sure I have enough money in my account for bills. I don't know what to say to this person. It's just kind of a bad situation that I'm trying to get under control. And that's what you got to do. And how you do that is you get rid of the credit cards. That way there won't be any credit card spending. If you don't have any credit cards, there won't be any credit card spending. Dumb, 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 dumb. Tired of not having money in my account to buy things that actually make me happy, like camping, golf. And you shouldn't be doing that crap while you're paying off debt either. Don't do that dumb stuff. Too many dumb things. Dumb. Assist substantial 639. So dumb. Alrighty. That's a good one to end it on. Dumb, 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 dumb. Stop being dumb. Alrighty. What's tomorrow? Tomorrow's Monday. Oh, so Ramsey show after show shows on this Wednesday and Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, and of course this stream answering your financial questions, where I'll say it's dumb a lot apparently. Saturdays and Sundays at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, and those Ramsey show after show shows are going to be on the 19th and the 21st, Wednesday and Friday of this week at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. I mean, at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. And Thursday, July 4th, one as well. And I'm Coach Steve Money, Ramsey Solutions financial coach. And I can say that stuff you're doing is dumb too. And I can say it to your face. Calendly.com/Coach Steve Money. That's video conferencing, of course. So I'll be perfectly safe. No problem. If you have any questions, coachstevemoney@gmail.com. Donations can go to paypal.me/Coach Steve Money. Alternatively, the $ Coach Steve Money on Cash App, or coachstevemoney@gmail.com for a Walmart gift card. Alrighty. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, like, and comment. And make smart, not dumb and stupid decisions every day.